Hey everybody, if you're like me, you're waiting for Call of Duty Modern Warfare to load as well.
3 hours?
So in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about poetry with Mr. SpreadLove. I hope you're in your pajamas. I know I am. So today we're going to talk about a poetry form called limericks. All right, limericks, spelled like that. Limericks were made famous by this guy called Edward Lear. See my picture? Here's a better picture of the guy. Right. So Edward Lear here, he made popular the limerick. He wrote 212 of the limericks. Edward Lear was a poet. He was an author. He was an illustrator. I know a lot of you like to draw. That's kind of why I drew him. What do you guys think with the other picture? Good. Anyway, Edward Lear, right? He made limericks popular. They're funny, they're nonsensical, and they're always a good way to get your poetic juices flowing. Speaking of creative flowing juices, if you need to use the bathroom, push pause and go do that, you guys. Again, he was a poet and an illustrator, and when he made limericks popular, he always added a illustration to go along with his poem. That's why today's exercise will be so fun. We get to draw pictures and create poetry, being creative in two different levels.
There was once an old man on the border who lived in the utmost disorder. He danced with the cat and made tea in his hat, which vexed all the people on the border. There was an old lady from France who taught little ducklings to dance. When she said tick-tack, they only said quack, which grieved the old lady. There was an old person of Dutton whose head was as small as a button. So to make it look big, he purchased a wig and rapidly rushed about Dutton.
Okay, now, Edward Lear, right? Limericks, you saw the limericks that I just posted, right? They had illustrations with them, and they also was following, they started to sound the same, right? What do you all think that we kept hearing? What was the poetic device that we heard?
Rhyme scheme.
Nobody said it out loud. I'll say it out loud. Rhyme scheme. Yes, rhyme scheme. So let's see one of his poems real quick, all right?
Watch how fast I can write.
Done. Man, I'm fast. Okay, so here is one of Edward Lear's limericks. It says, I hope I can get this all. There was an old man in a tree who was horribly bored by a bee. When they asked, "Does it buzz?" he replied, "Yes, it does. It's a regular brute of a bee." All right, doesn't really make sense, right? It was different, but it was a rhyme scheme. All right, so we're going to talk about rhyme scheme, trying to figure out where the rhyme scheme is in this limerick. Okay, so what rhymes? There was once an old man in a tree who was horribly bored by a bee.
Tree and bee.
Yep, tree and bee. Tree and bee. All right. When we're talking about rhyme scheme, we need to assign each rhyme its own letter. So what letter are we assigning tree and bee?
A.
A. A. A. So it says there was an old man in a tree who was horribly bored by a bee. When they asked, "Does it buzz?" he replied, "Yes, it does." Any rhyme?
Buzz and does.
Yep. Does and buzz. Uh-huh. Yep. We got to assign in the letter. It's different than the tree and bee.
B.
Oh, yep, B. That's funny. Yep, we're going to assign that a B. A B. All right. And then the last one says it's a regular brute of a B. I guess that goes with our A. All right. So now we have our rhyme scheme. Remember I told you guys, rhyme scheme. All right.
Okay, you guys. I spell rhyme wrong, and sit next to it for the
In
rest
the
of the
limerick,
video.
the rhyme scheme is A,
That's why you always need to
A,
check your spelling when doing
B,
videos.
B,
But this
All
is
right.
how you
That
spell
is the
rhyme.
rhyme scheme for limerick. Okay, so now that we have our rhyme scheme, and we know how we're going to rhyme, we can create our own limericks now. And this is the fun part, right? And you can create a limerick about anything at all. Edward Lear made his about nonsensical or silly things. But in this day of time, they can be serious if they want. It's all up to the author, all up to the poet. It's all up to you. So on your paper, right, if you have some paper out, if you want to, please write on the side of your paper this rhyme scheme. A, B, or excuse me, A, B, B, A. All right, I want you to write that on the side of your paper. And we're going to create a limerick. All right. I want you to write a limerick about what's going on right now, about the coronavirus and everything else. Like, it's crazy. I know that this is a hard time for most families, and I'm sure it's a hard time for you getting this lesson in front of your computer screen. So just understand and know that an education is something we seek out for ourselves. All right. And education is something that you seek out for yourself. All right. So while this school is out and while you're not getting your regular lessons, please make sure that you're learning something. All right. Don't just play video games. Continue to work that mind and learn about the things that you are interested in. I have been interested in poetry this whole time. And this is why we're doing this lesson. So I'm going to write a limerick real quick and I will come back. Watch how fast I write. Boom. Man, I write fast. All right, so let's see what we got. Let's see what I got. Remember, we're using the rhyme scheme A, B, B, A. All right, and we are writing limericks. All right, so it says, COVID-19 is painting a self-portrait, an outline drawn out and tortured. If an apple a day keeps the doctors away, I need access to the whole orchard. All right, so this is this a limerick? All right, let's see the rhyme scheme. Is it AA? Portrait, tortured. Portrait, tortured. Yeah, sure. Sure. Day, away. Definitely. Remember, your B is different than your A, okay? I need access to the whole orchard. Orchard, portrait, orchard, tortured. Yeah, I think it goes. I think it goes together. It's a limerick, you guys. And then after you write your limerick, all right, I want you to go on the other side of your paper. And why not? Why not draw something? Draw an illustration, right? If I was going to draw an illustration for this, I would draw a tree, right? An orchard, if you guys didn't know, an orchard is a field of trees, kind of like a field of trees. Put some apples on there. Have you all seen the pictures of COVID, COVID-19, the coronavirus? Have you seen the pictures? It's a little virus that looks like this. It's got little spikes all on it. So I'm gonna put some spikes on my apples because some of them aren't apples, some of them are COVID, excuse me. I'll put myself here, just do a little stick person. And I'm reaching for the apples that are falling. Little illustration. So yeah, you guys, those are limericks. All right. A quick rhyme scheme of AABBA, writing out and doing a little illustration. I have a challenge for you guys. I'm not sure if anybody's up for it, but I want you to write a limerick about the coronavirus or about your experience with it. And I want you to draw a little illustration, and we'll call it the Limerick Challenge. All right. Send it to your teacher, and I'll pick the best one and send a surprise. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming and spending some time spreading some love. Hope you guys are writing poetry, staying safe, and practicing social distancing. Much love, you guys. See you later.